It's your girl Alida, and today I am doing a sit down vlog. Crazy, I know, but I just kind of wanted to update you guys on what has been going on in my life, which it has been crazy. Literally, it has literally been so crazy. So it all started on Easter Day. Easter Day, it was going good, it was going fine. We come back home and my dad has been having a lot of issues with his heart and his stomach. If he would eat anything, he would throw it up, and he just wasn't doing very good. His pulse would go below 70, which is definitely a no-go. So we took him to the ER, and what happened is, well, we also took him to the heart hospital as well. And so what they did was they decided to put in a pacemaker, which is a major step for someone. So then after they put the pacemaker in, we brought him home, and he was doing okay, except when he would eat, he would throw it up, and we came to find out that he had 3 ulcers, either on his stomach or his intestines. So what we had to do, well, what the surgeons had to do, was basically just cut off that part and reattach it somewhere else. So what the surgeons basically had to do was cut off part of that intestine that was causing him to throw up, and sew the stomach, that area, together, and just put the intestine in another location. Pretty good and simple. So then after the surgery, he was on an all liquid diet, which sucked. Then he was on a soft food diet, which would consist of like applesauce and Jello. Then he would go to a semi-solid food, which I'm thinking is like, I'm not 100% sure what that is, but he went on to a semi-solid food, and then finally onto solid foods. So we were all happy at that point. So forward to the present time. 4 days ago, my mom was feeling achy. She was just feeling like shit. You know how we all feel like shit? But she was having trouble breathing. Not like sitting down breathing. Like when she would get up and walk around, she would just have a hard time. It would hurt for her to breathe. She was just literally having a hard time. And I was staying over at a friend's house, and my mom texted me, "Hey, we're going to the hospital. I can't deal with this anymore." So they went to the ER, and come to find out that she had pneumonia, which I'm happy they went to the hospital. Yes, but my girls miss their grandma. Yeah, you miss grandma? Yeah, I know. You miss grandma, okay? I know. Grandma's a big part of your life, huh? Yeah, you too, Lola. Okay, let's get down for a second. Thank you. So she's been in the hospital for about 4 days, and last night, we had this big ass storm. Big ass storm, alright? It was raining, it was thundering, it was lightning, it was just crazy. And I was like, I'm gonna watch some Ghost Adventures because this will calm me down. Zach Bagans' voice soothes me a little bit. So I was full on watching Ghost Adventures. I started it from the beginning, from season 1, I think episode 2. Anyway, it was about 1 o'clock, and I had went downstairs because from my room I can see like if there's a light on downstairs, I can see if the light's on. So I knew someone was up. It was my dad. He was awake. So I went downstairs, and he was holding like his abdomen, the side of his abdomen, and he was telling me that it was like a really sharp pain, and he couldn't go to sleep because of it. And so I called my mom. Well, she actually called me, and I had said, "Hey, Dad's having this pain. I think I'm going to take him to the hospital." She said, "Yeah, take him to the hospital now." So I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I drove him to the hospital during the storm, which was very stressful. Very. Also, when we got there, my mom is in the hospital. She is on like the 5th floor. So anyway, when we got to the hospital, we got into a room, my mom came down in her gown and everything, you know, they were both in the room. My dad was laying on a bed and my mom was sitting there in her gown, and I was pacing. I was literally pacing. I couldn't stop moving. I had to keep moving. So I kept pacing, and I was hot. So I had a fan. I was fanning myself. I don't know. I guess I would say maybe in a state of like panic. Maybe I would call it panic. I don't know though. Anyway, I decided to go to the bathroom because I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack, which I basically did. I went into the bathroom and I started crying nonstop. I tried not to cry so loud because the bathroom is across the hall from the bathroom is across the hall from where my dad was staying in the ER. So I didn't want to cry too loud. I didn't want to make too much noise. So I was silently crying to myself. And I called this guy that I've been seeing, JC. He's really sweet. And I said, hey, I really need you to come down here. I'm breaking down. I need support. And I'm the type of person where if I'm surrounded by people who are sick or who are in the hospital, I try my best to put on a brave face. So JC said that he would come over to the hospital, and when I left the bathroom, I was fanning myself because I was so hot and I had just finished crying, and I went into the room and I told my parents that JC was coming to the hospital, and my dad's like, you've been crying. And I said, no, I needed to get my face wet because that's hot in here. And my mom's like, she gave me the look of, which we all know that look. So I went over to her and I was like, no, I'm okay. And, you know, I sat down and I tried to distract myself on my phone, and I had gotten a Pepsi from the vending machine. And my mom's like, can I have some of your Pepsi? It's like, yeah, of course you can have some of my Pepsi, Mom. Hashtag not sponsored. Anyway, they had those 1990s cups, those little ones, like with the 1990 design on it, which I love those cups. And I poured some Pepsi in it for her, and she was literally shaking. She was gonna spill it on herself. And I, being instinctively, was like, no, here, let me take it. And she, like, instinctively was like, no, it's mine. And, like, started drinking it. And when that happened, I broke in front of them. That was not my goal. I was trying my best not to do it, but I just broke. Seeing that happen to her, it's just hard seeing people you love not being able to do the things they did, which is what happens when you get older. But it still broke me. Like, just thinking about it, I'm literally feel like I'm gonna cry right now. But anyway, JC came over and we talked, and we all talked together just to get our minds off of what was going on, which really helped me, since I'm basically an only child, and it was nice to have someone else there for me that wasn't super older than me, wasn't like an actual like 30-year-old. So it felt nice to have someone there that was around my age that I could talk to, and we could all talk together. And after that, I felt way better because he was there, and I decided that now keep in mind, when he came over, it was literally around 3:30 in the morning, and he had to go to work the next day. And so I said to my parents, hey, I'm gonna follow him home so he gets home. So we left, I kissed them goodbye, and you know, I followed him home. We went up to his apartment and we just slept. Literally just slept. And he started work at 9 o'clock. Well, he was supposed to, but I guess either in the middle of the night or really early in the morning, he messaged his boss and said stuff. I don't know exactly what he said, but I'm guessing he told him about what was going on, and he said, yeah, you can take someone else's shift, I understand. So, which is really sweet. Like, JC is literally the sweetest. Even though he had work at 9 o'clock in the morning, he came to the hospital at 3:30 in the morning. And he hates hospitals. Like, who doesn't hate hospitals? But I didn't want to push him to go to the hospital, but he was like, yeah, I don't want you to be upset, and I don't want you to feel alone in this. So I really appreciate JC. He's such an amazing guy, and I feel blessed to have him in my life. And today, fun, today I went up to go see them in the hospital. My mom, they're giving her antibiotics, which is good. Like, they've been giving her antibiotics for the past 4 days. And my dad, I didn't know this, but he had lifted over the exceeded limit. And not good. Don't ever do that if you have had surgery. Don't do that. Not good. And also they found an infection, so they had to put like a drain in there. So when I went up there, he was like sleepy. So he basically slept. I went and sat with my mom. I want to thank you guys for watching this sit down with me vlog. I know it's unusual for me to vlog like this, but I really appreciate you guys watching. I really do. I honestly do. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!